Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ana. You may find me on Instagram under Ana C Aguayo, or I'm also the designer, or you may find me also on Etsy under the name the designs Peruvian Flair on cross stitch and some crochet patterns as well. So it's been over a year since I last recorded my previous episode, so it's been a very long time, and actually this is the third time that I'm recording this episode. I started on Tuesday, and today is Saturday, February 5th. So the first day I did it with my phone and it was on vertical mode, so it didn't work out. The second time I had it, horizontal, but still it took me more than a day to upload the recordings from my phone to my iPad, and it was a big mess, and one of the videos didn't upload. So this is the third time I'm filming using my iPad. So not the best video quality, but this is it. I have so much respect and admiration for all of you Flosstubers that record and so much often. It's a lot of work, so thank you for doing it. Thank you for sharing with the community. It's hard work. Okay, so today what I wanted to share with you is some of my finishes from last year, the year 2021. So I have some finishes that I would like to share with you. The first two are two stitches that I actually did in 2020. This small kit from Mary & Co. Company. And I had done all the stitching already, but I hadn't fully finished it. So what I did is I added this cording around it. Same thing I did with this little fox, which is from a magazine, a cross stitching magazine. Again, I had done the stitching already, but I had not completely finished it. So again, I did add some cording. And the interesting thing about the cording is that last year I took some classes with Rosa Garcia. She's from Peru, and she did some virtual classes over Zoom to teach us how to create these braids and these cords using just your fingers, your hands. And it was very interesting. We learned all sorts of cords. I have some examples here. For example, this is a flat braid, and it's basically you do it with loops. You fold your yarns in half to form the loops, and then you have these loops on your fingers, and making different passes, different crossings, you create these different shapes. So that was a flat braid. This is a square braid, again with the loops, the loop techniques. This is another example of a flat braid, and this is again another one, a round braid. So it was very fascinating for me to learn those techniques from my country, from Peru, and be able to use the results on cross stitching. So again, for example, here I used that for the border, and I simply glued it to the circle around it. So just two quick finishes that I wanted to share with you because of that, because of the cording and the braiding. Now on the finishes for 2021, the first one was this sal. Let me see if I can have it all in screen. Now let me get closer. This was a stitch along called the Homely House Plants 2021 from Stitchonomy, and this is a design company that every 2 or 3 months they have these free sales. So I would encourage you to check them out. They have beautiful designs and patterns. Right now they have one going on for Christmas. And again, I love the pattern, and it gave me the opportunity to use flosses that I had in my stash. So since these are plants, I use different greens. If I had the ones they called for, I used them, but in some cases I didn't, and I just replaced them for any type of greens. And this green here, the darker green here on this plant and on this one, are Jameer's silks. That floss color is tantalizing teal. And then I also use some of her atomic tangerine here on the top. So it was very nice to work on this and to complete it. The fabric for this is a placemat, actually, 100% cotton from India that I found at my local Goodwill. So what I like the most about it is the size. It's like a 21 count. So I stitched it 2/2, so I get like 11 crosses per inch. So it's big enough where I don't have to use my magnifying glass. So it's a very easy stitching, very nice. Next, my next finish was this Andean Women, and this is a design that I created to represent the women from Peru, from my background. And again, I wanted to symbolize, to represent the vibrant colors that they use in their vestment, and at the same time their strength. These are very hardworking women that I always remember, seeing through my childhood and growing up in Peru, and you would always see them, with their hats to protect themselves from the sun, and the colorful vestment, and the very dark black yet hair. So usually they wear it in braids, even one braid or two braids, but something very that represents again women from Peru, from the Andes, from Peru. And this design is available on my Etsy shop. To finish it, I just added some ribbon to the sides, and then again I used that cording that I learned by twisting a couple of threads. And what I really liked about learning those techniques is that you can use your own threads, right? The ones, for example, that you use on your stitching to finish your project. So that was another plus. Next, another project that I did is the friendship design. Again, is one of my charts, and I do my own model stitching, so that's why you'll see that most of my finishes are my own designs. And again, I wanted to represent the vibrant colors, and then these shapes, right? These are not, they're crosses, right? But if you see this side, it's like a V, a sideways letter V, and then you have these diamonds. So these shapes are very common in ancient textiles in Peru. You see them very in a lot of their textiles. So it was a geometric shape that I wanted to also represent. And then later, when I was learning these cording techniques, I learned that these sideways V's represent the doves, or urpi. In Quechua you call it urpi, in Spanish is paloma, so they're doves. And then the diamonds represent eyes, or ñawi again in Quechua, or ojo in Español, so in Spanish. So some of the cordings I took three separate classes. So in the intermediate class, we learned to make these, again, the sideways V's, or urpis or doves, and then we also learned to make the ñawis, or eyes. So again, very representative of ancient textiles, those two shapes, the sideways V's and the diamonds. So that was the friendship bracelet. Then it was the Inca butterflies, again one of my designs, and that one I did not stitch the full model. However, I decided to stitch one of the butterflies. The pattern has 6 butterflies, so I decided to stitch one of them on this jean jacket. I used waist canvas on top, and then I stitch on top of the waisted canvas where after you complete your stitching, you remove the threads using twisters or something to pull each thread from behind the stitching. So that was the Inca butterflies. I have a couple of stitchy friends that stitched them. I'll insert those pictures here so that you can see. One is Sherry, my friend from Canada, and then the next one is Marta, and she did an amazing job. She stitched the background, so it became a full coverage piece. And so she stitched the butterflies in black, and then for the background she used Mrs. Sera's silks, and it's a masterpiece. So that was the Inca butterflies. After that came Moche Iconography, again inspired by the Moche culture from ancient Peru, and it's basically these geometric shapes. And I don't know if it would be familiar to you, but when I see them, what I think is the video games, right? Those early video games. And I've even read that they got the creators of those video games, I believe the name is Space Invader, got some of the inspiration from Moche Iconography. For this one, I wanted to use neon colors, and I also use almost Jamir's silks. So the pink here on the top is her flamingo silk, and then this beautiful orange is her atomic tangerine. The purple is DMC 550, and then this neon is from a pack that I got at Walmart. It was a neon J&J coats kit or pack, neon pack. So that's Moche Iconography. This one I stitched on a linen that I had. I think it's a 14 count. All of my pieces are 14 count, either Aida or linen, and I dyed this myself. Okay, next is Sican bird, and on that one I'll take a little bit more time, and especially now that we're in February, aviary, right? This month where we're stitching birds. So back on October, I had the honor to participate in the marathon for MMIW meetup, organized by the wonderful Michelle Bendistici, Alicia Resistich, Rachel Ray from Rachel Ray Craft, and Erin, two Martinez teacher. So they organized this event a fundraising event, and I had the honor to participate. And there, during that call or meetup, I released the Sican bird. So this is the Sican bird. Sican is a culture in the north of Peru, in a region called Lambayeque, and that's where my dad is from. So this was very special. And also the two heads, right? This is a condor with two heads. And when I saw that design, I said, oh, I wish I had two heads, because sometimes, things are too much to handle with one head. I wish I had a second head. And then the more I thought about it, I said, well, I do have a second head, on my friends, on my support group, my stitcher friends, my family. So when things become too hard, don't forget that you have that second head too. Look for that support group and find it, because life is too hard to deal with it all by yourself. So this is Sican bird, and again, a perfect stitch if you want to participate in the February aviary sale that is going on now for the months of February. Let's see. After that, came my big whip. I had a whip, a work in progress, for over, I think 20 years or so. The pattern is called Flowers for Mama. And I started this for my son, right? When my son was very young. My son is now 23. So he was probably, how old, maybe it was 2005. So maybe he was 5 or 6 back then, and I started this design and I stitched just a little bit, and then I stopped and I didn't continue stitching on this until back in November of 2021, where I said, you know what, that whip has been waiting for me to work on it for too many years already. So I went back and I started working on it each day, and I finished it. So it is a full coverage, and I'm very happy that it's done. Her face, let me get closer, is not perfect, but that's fine, right? So I like all the details that you get with the back stitching. There's a lot of back stitching. But yeah, that's it. It's completed. I'm not sure how I'm gonna finish it. I don't think I'm gonna frame it. I'm thinking maybe making a bag with it. I'm not sure. I don't know how to sew, so I'm kind of limited on how I can finish my project. But it is what it is, right? So those are all my finishes from last year, for the year 2021. In terms of plans, I'm currently stitching my model stitch for my next release. It's going to be called Wadi Tunic. So Wadi is again another culture in Peru, and I didn't know this, but I've been researching more about this culture, this Wadi, and they were super big and powerful, and their textiles are wonderful. They're so beautiful, so rich, and it really, what caught my attention is how, if you look at their textiles, it looks like something from the modern ages, right? Like abstract art. So this one, let me show you a sneak peek of what I have so far. This is not the whole stitch, but it's basically this creature with both of its hands up, and again, I found it so abstract, so captivating, and so I really like the design. It's gonna have another. This is like half of the design, and the back. I still need to stitch the background. So just a sneak peek, but again, it's from the Wadi culture. So more to come on that. But the position of its hands really is like, you know, I'm present. I'm here. I'm present for me and for you, and I don't know. It has some meaning for me, that position, that, you know, I'm here. So yeah. So this is coming up. This is gonna be a next release shortly, as soon as I finish stitching it. And also wanted to share with you, I'm also a crocheter, right? I love to crochet, and it's something that is easy for me, very relaxing. So I went on a rabbit hole with making these potholders, these crochet pothold, and they're not really crochet, because what I'm really using is a loom. So you're probably familiar with this type of looms that my daughter got. Actually, this is a kit that my daughter got for Christmas or birthday, and basically a plastic loom that looks like this, and it comes with these loops, right, in different colors. And basically what you do is you put these loops around the loom, and all in one direction, and then you have something like a crochet type of hook, and you know, they're very easy instructions, and you basically create these potholders. So we did that, right? But we still have some loops left over, but I wanted to see if it would be possible to use some of the yarn that I already have in my stash, right? So I'm sure if you knit or crochet, you have a stash. And I wanted to make it out of cotton. So I have this sugar and cream cotton that is very good. I have all sorts of colors. This, for example, is modern blue, and this one is Anchors Away. Um, so I have a lot of this cotton. This is 100% cotton. I said, oh, it would be fun if I could make some of these pot holders using this cotton yarn. So I found a very easy to follow video on YouTube, and I learned how to make them. So I've been creating this or making these pot holders. In this one I introduced several colors. Like I wanted to make a rainbow, but I didn't have space for purple, so then I make only one in purple. I made this in blue with the variegated, so that's the one that I showed you, and I hold two threads together, right? So to make it more consistent, thicker consistent, what I do is I take one from the variegated and one from the solid color, and then I weave my loom. So I've been making lots of these, and I think these would be good Christmas presents, like a couple, right? I like the solid, the combination of a solid one with a variegated pot holder. I made one in pink, this crude color, and green, and this one with purple. So I've been making them and having a lot of fun, and again using a yarn from a stash, which is very nice, and I think I'm created a pile that potentially would be Christmas gifts. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I'll share the video, the YouTube video, and if you would like to explore that, the loom is very cheap. You can find it on Amazon. I could also find or anywhere else. I'm sure Michael's sells it, or Joanne Fabrics. They sell it, and it's easy and something relaxing, and you can use your stash. If you have wool, it's also good. So I've been reading that these natural fibers, either cotton or wool, are the best for pot holders because they don't catch on fire, because they're natural fibers and they really protect your hands when handling anything hot. So they don't recommend making them out of acrylic fabric or anything like that, because it could catch on fire. So that's the other thing that I wanted to share with you. And then last but not least, I wanted to share with you this necklace that I got. This necklace and this bracelet. I got them from a friend of mine that is recently opened her little business where she's selling products that are good for the environment, that are completely 100% biodegradable and zero waste. And in the case of the jewelry, is made out of 100% recycled materials. So I know the metal is recycled, and in this case the silks, these tassels are made out of silk. The same with this bracelet. I love this part with it almost looks like a DMC thread, right? Which is not, and then these balls I believe are made out of recycled saris from India. So again, beautiful jewelry, and not only that, she sells all sorts of stuff that are good for the environment, zero waste. Her company name is Mano D Sol, and I'll also link her down below in case you want to check it out. So I think that's it for today. I just wanted to come back after this hiatus of more than a year, and I hope to be back sooner with more news. I want to create another video for my finds at the Goodwill. I'm an avid thrifter, so I've been thrifting a lot for cross stitching, needlework, needlepoint. I found very beautiful frames. So I'll create another video for that, specifically for that, and have a previous one in case you want to check it out for my findings, also cross-stitching findings at the Goodwill. And that's it. Just say hello. Glad to be back. Thank you for all the creators out there, that take the time to record these videos, because it's so nice to stitch along with you, to just turn on Flosstube and listen to you. It's like having a friend stitching side by side with you. I really enjoy it. I learn about all of you, what you do, your designs, your your projects and your lives. We get to know each other a little bit more. So thank you for that, and hope to be back soon. Bye.